I think that Renzo had Louis Kahn in mind throughout the design process. I think Louis Kahn was looking over Renzo's shoulders, and I think that we have a greater building because of that as well.
Louis Kahn was one of my mentors.
Every work of architecture should be in natural light. And this particularly, because you were seeing works of art which are really poetry.
I worked with Kahn, then I got the commission from the Menil, and to do that commission I went to see Kahn, and then actually Ray Nasher called me later, and I of course went again there immediately with Ray Nasher. And then after I have that done, Kay and Ben Fortson called me on the Kimbell. So it's a kind of I don't know, called that, Texas story.
But where do you see it starting here?
Maybe a bit further down.
I like that.
I like that idea. Then you can...
Hey, what did I say? Great idea.
I think the Kimbell's Renzo piano building is very much in that family of Renzo piano museums that includes the Menil, the Byler, the Nasher, the Twombly. These are all single-story museums that are freestanding and fairly intimate in scale.
The Kimbell has been always in the middle of all this. And not really because of the language, because it's not my language. It's more about scale, it's more about construction as well, because that building is extremely well done.
Well, the number one reason why the Kimbell decided to expand was so that it can exhibit all of its permanent collection at the same time it has special exhibitions. And we're as well known for our permanent collection as we are for our architecture.
Since the Kimbell, the Kahn building was built, everybody got to enter from the wrong side. Kahn didn't drive, he didn't get a driving license. He didn't think about Texas like a place where of course you go by car, so you leave the car. Everything starts with by closing the door of your car, and then you start the adventure. I always thought someday, sometime, we should make this right. Is that we are building a car parking underneath here, so that finally people will come to Kahn building. At one condition, that when the elevator comes up and the door open, you have in front Kahn. You can address yourself to the new building or to the old building, but of course you address the old building, the Kahn building, directly from the entrance, as it should be. That was the idea. And then that was the beginning of this dialogue. When you have a dialogue between two persons, you put yourself at the right distance. If you are too close to the person, it becomes ridiculous. If you stay too far away, it's wrong. You have to tune. This is the right depth. So it's the same thing for building.
58.
You measure.
I measure.
With encouragement from Ben and Kay, it's a little sad to walk downhill to your building, Renzo. I think we should rise up to it. It's an event.
When you are in the presence of a good client, you understand that. You feel that mix of curiosity, love, attention, trust.
This building was lower, it got higher, it was closer, it got further away.
It went from wood to travertine to concrete.
This is the result of 1,000 little tweaks.
Taking material and working with material, putting together things, wood, steel, glass, whatever, stone. It doesn't matter the piece. That piece and that piece is when they come together, they join.
And the way he uses his workshop is to build things so you can actually analyze them at scale. It's incredible. So his ability to manage variables and then to play with them at different scales physically, I think that combination is what ends up being why he's good at what he does.
The column is the ground, is the topos. And the beam is flying. And it comes and it touches. It's not different from ships in the harbor of Genoa. You bring yourself and your world and your heritage in a job. I'm Italian, and there is very little I can do about that.
Great artists and great architects, they're inspired by so many things from history to everyday life. And they draw inspirations from all of these sources, and they create something that's entirely their own.
The color will become more like that. When the building will be done, you will love the idea to put some sculpture against the wall of concrete. I'm not saying against in the sense of attached to the wall, but the concrete wall may act beautifully as a background for a piece of art.
Renzo Piano has, I think, intuitively understood that his building needed to be inspiring without being imposing.
The idea that space is not just made of wall, floor, ceiling, but it's made by untouchable elements like light. Architecture is about people, it's about society, it's about science, it's about invention, it's about technology, it's about history, it's about art, beauty.
I think his natural bent is to create spaces that are fun to be in. They're places where you feel enlivened. So for him, that's architecture. I'm going to create great spaces. And it's not about swooping and curving and gestures and extravagance or something like that. It's really about making places where humans are going to be happy.
As somebody said, it's nice to get lost in the museum.
This building is going to have that quality of intimacy and inspiration that its great predecessor, some 65 yards away, still has.
Renzo Piano was not designing just for our audiences of today, but I think he was designing for history. He was designing for Louis Kahn. He knew that he would be forever compared to Louis Kahn right here at the Kimbell.